Best Of. I am your host, Ricky Tucker. On The Best Of, we focus on the best in the areas of business, entertainment, sports, and the community. And it is with great honor and pleasure that we have our guests today. They not only come, and notice I said they, because it's not just one guest. We're fortunate enough, even blessed enough, to have a dynamic couple who just happen to live, work, and play together in the form of Mr. Mel Shaw and Mrs. Pearl Shaw, better known to the people on the in the Mid-South area as Mel and Pearl. So welcome to the show, Mel and Pearl. How are you today?
Oh, doing fine, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it is indeed a pleasure. As I was telling you all before the show, as we were researching and really getting some things together to get an opportunity to talk with you, I became more and more and more excited. So now that I know what the audience is in store for, I'd like to ask you to go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and get started with having the people in the viewing audience to learn some things about you. Now, even from the very beginning, you know, I'm a Southern guy, and you know, they talk about Southern protocol and being a gentleman and all of that. So I was going to start off by asking Pearl to tell us about herself. And she, just as a gracious lady, said, no, let's go ahead and let Mel start. So I thought, wow, how awesome that is. So I see that you and I both just happen to be two incredibly blessed men. With having said that, we would like to ask you, Mel, to just tell us some things about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I've been away for a long time and had the good fortune to move back to Memphis to bring our company, because we work nationwide. And the research indicated that the best place for us to reestablish our business would be Memphis. And the person who was doing that had no idea that I was from Memphis, Tennessee. Wow. So it really worked out great for us. And we've been here now about 3 years.
Wow. Yeah. So that sounds like purely divine guidance. And I am so happy that you were led this way and that you chose Memphis, because hopefully by the time some of the folks get an opportunity to view the show, they will see that if they have not gotten started with working with you and Pearl, then hopefully the phones will be ringing and the email will be on fire and people will be seeking you, because my wife and I have had an opportunity to meet you, and we're incredibly blessed, and we know that the people in the viewing audience are as well. Now, there's one thing, and for some reason I knew that with you being as humble of a man as you are, that you probably wouldn't mention it, but my research indicates that you are not only the creator but the producer of something that I'd like to ask you to share with the audience about.
I think you're talking about the Lou Rawls Parade of Stars. I had the good fortune to be a part of that, and we started this back in 1979, and the idea was that how do we better engage the African American community for the United Negro College Fund? And we came up with the idea. We first started with radio, and we were doing a series of radiothons. We started this in Texas at the time. I was living in Texas and working for the United Negro College Fund, and then we expanded to television and had the good fortune of running into Lou Rawls. And Lou said, I like this project, I want to be a part of it. And he brought in Anheuser-Busch and other major sponsors to participate in it. And I mean, it was history from that point on. It's just really caught on well. It ended up being the largest special event in the African American community anywhere in the world. It was just that powerful. And at last count I heard that it had raised over $500 million for scholarships and to support of our 41 member colleges of UNCF. So again, it was a great experience, and I was involved with it for 17 years before I thought I was good enough to go out on my own.
Wow, that is awesome. And you know, as I researched and realized that, I must admit that I was quite embarrassed to not know that already. Mm-hmm. And so I would really like to challenge some of the folks in our viewing audience to share this with everyone you know, primarily the ones of you who have attended HBCUs, because this man is in part responsible for some of your tuition. So think in terms of We realize that a lot of households have been positively impacted. So just that alone, along with I'm sure that we're going to learn from Pearl, is, I mean, it would just be a wrap just finding that out. Just the gifts and talents that the two of you have will, display and share with us today. So thank you again for that.
Thank you. Well, I went to an HBCU, and it was a way of giving back, so that was a kind of a double hit for me to be able to do that.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, they talk about 20% of the population doing 80% of the work. When you do that or give that kind of contribution, that shrinks it. You probably took up another 15%. So thanks again for that.
Thank you.
Now, we understand and we realize that beside every great man, and notice I said beside. I'm trying to get my points here too. Beside,
you're a good man.
Beside every great man, great woman, and for you, she comes in the form of Ms. Pearl Saad Shaw. So welcome to the show, Ms. Shaw.
Well, thank you.
And we'd like to find out some things about you. Share some things with us about you.
Well, I'd like to say my life started when I met Melvin Shaw, but
Awesome.
Actually I was full grown by then.
Wow, she's pretty smooth too.
I'm from Yonkers, New York. I've spent about 30 years in the San Francisco Bay Area, and this is the third home for me, Memphis, and I love it. Since we've landed here, I found Memphis to be just such a warm community, an embracing community, and the thing that I love most about Memphis, Ricky, is that everybody we meet, because of our work, they're moving forward. Everybody is looking for solutions.
Wow.
We don't meet people that sit around and complain. Our business, if the viewers don't know, is fundraising.
Absolutely.
We serve as fundraising counsel for nonprofit organizations, institutions, colleges, hospitals, and grassroots organizations as well. So everybody we meet is busy looking forward. How can we do something better? And that's what makes our days great. And those are the people we've met so many of here in Memphis.
Super.
People coordinate here.
Yeah.
They're not all just doing their own thing. They're looking at how can we do things together. And
Awesome.
it's crazy, but that makes our day. Those are
Yeah.
things that make our day.
Wow, that is awesome. And you said things like moving forward, planning, collaborating, those kinds of things. And that really is the kind of energy that Memphis and the Mid-South needs. So the two of you being what we've been fortunate enough, my wife and I, to be referred to as the dynamic duo. But I will tell you, I relinquished my title. And so now we are the dynamic duo junior. And so, we give up our crown and throne to you guys. So again, thanks for the things that you do. And we're going to learn some more because you kind of really touched on some of the other things that we want to talk about, because we want the listening audience and viewing audience to find out more of what you do. And I also want to say to the people in the other markets, have no fear. Because Mel and Pearl Shaw are here. We're going to be in your community as well, because you will be able to view this on YouTube. So whatever community, whatever city or state you're in, you will be able to share this. So let's talk a little bit more too. You said something about the things that you do. Talk to me about what services you guys offer.
Great.
Sure.
Well, let me start. I'll share with you what we do is we help organizations, nonprofits, to deliver on their mission. And we do that in a very specific way. We help them with their fundraising. So many great ideas about how to make the world a better place, but what we also know is that implementing those ideas takes people, it takes faith, takes will, and it takes finances and resources. And that's where we come in on finances and resources, helping nonprofits to figure out how to attract the right types of resources and the right amount of money from the right people. Great. Using the right methods.
Great, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to just pause just a moment to share with you how to get in contact with Mel and Pearl. As we said, that they are principals of Mel and of Saad and Shaw Comprehensive Fund Development Services. In the greater Memphis area, they can be reached at 901-522-8727. For the people in California, they can be reached at 510-79 888-848-4888. They can also be reached by email at info@saadandshaw.com. That is S as in Sam, AAD, and shaw.com. So I always want to share that bit of information because before it's over, people are going to be pulling their hair out and racking their minds just to try and find out how to get in contact with you. And I'm going to be sharing that information just a little bit more throughout the show. How long have you actually been in business? No?
We've been together 10 years, but we had our own individual firms before we met. Mm-hmm. And we were working for a mutual client at the time and decided to say, well, why don't we pool our resources together and kind of start a different kind of business with a new look, a new feel, wow, and a new type of service. And we think we have created a unique brand of fundraising that seemed to have worked. We've been growing by leaps and bounds over the last 10 years, so we're celebrating our 10th year.
Awesome. That's a good number. That is an awesome number. Now, you touched on it just a little bit, but you didn't. Let's peel the onion back just a little bit because there was that subtle slide about you getting together. How did you actually get together and meet? You know, my wife and I work together, and people say, well, how did you guys meet? How did you get started with this? So how did you actually start?
Well, I was working for this client at the time, and Pearl was coming in to meet with the person that I was working with. And I saw her coming down the hall, and I was talking to some ladies, and they said, well, who is that lady? And I said, don't worry about it. I'll find out who this lady is. And then I go in and I hand her my card and say, give me a call. We need to talk.
Oh, wow.
And I knew that she needed me at the hotel. She needed me. No, I'm just kidding. But that's how it happened. And from that point, we've been together ever since.
Wow, that is awesome. And what an investment. This leads to something that I saw on your website. And Pearl, I'm going to ask you to comment on this. The quote that's on your website says, together, Pearl and Mel have created Saad and Shaw, one of the most experienced, innovative, and creative powerhouse partnerships in fundraising consultancy today. Comment on that for me.
Well, Ricky, we were blown away when we read that. We'd worked with a copywriter, and he asked us, similar questions to you about who we are, what our business is, how do we work with our clients. And that was how he summed up who we are. And it really resonated with me because what that's different maybe from other firms in our sector is we're really personal. We work with a limited number of clients each year, and we combine marketing and business fundamentals. And we ask the hard questions, and we team with people. We don't leave them. And we're so blessed in that way that those who choose to work with us, we develop real long-lasting relationships that are very creative